Resistance is futile.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper. Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food
Junk
supper.
food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Welcome to Junk Food Supper. This is the podcast where basically every week we get together to talk about weird movies and crazy movies and silly movies and all kinds of other stuff. I am Parker, and Sean Byron is out this week. He's in Japan, respecting all the Japanese of this country, and that country, I guess. But I am instead joined by our main man, Babylegs. What's up, Babylegs? We see you. Get money.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's wild to be on this.
Yeah, for so long, like old JFD heads, and podcast town heads will know you. Primarily probably from the fact that Doan from Kissing Contest would advise you to get money from time to time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was like a part of their like outro of like every episode somehow.
I think so.
Like, they would always be like, "Oh, shout out to Babylegs Eric, get money," and I never called in. Like, I never responded to them. I never emailed them. I was always just a listener, but like somehow organically I became part of like their lore of their show.
I thought it was because you called in one time. Isn't that how you got
it's
nickname Babylegs?
Okay. No, what it was they had a segment where I think they never had like people call in because I think that they all hated that sort of stuff. But they would have like listeners email, and I had a buddy named Kevin who was like a big fan of Junk Food Dinner and Kissing Contest, and he like emailed in and he was like a cab driver at the time, and so he was like talking about his like, you know, his cabbie stuff, and then he like gave me a shout out and said, "Oh, my friend Eric, Babylegs Eric, that works at Santa Cruz Bicycles," and I had never been called Babylegs Eric, and he had never called me that before, and then it was so funny because for whatever reason they just started like shouting out Babylegs Eric and for me to get money because I was, you know, hard at work at Santa Cruz Bicycles making bikes, and then you know, and then I told coworkers and stuff like that, like about like the podcast, and they would like listen to it and they thought it was like the funniest thing. And so like it had started like this weird nickname of mine that like lasts to this day. Like to this day, somebody who I've never even met, like said like one of my coworkers was like talking about me, of course, and they're like, "Oh, Babylegs Eric," and they like, and this was like a dude like I never even met before, and it's just so funny that like that it was like the opposite effect. Like I never had this nickname until the podcast, and then now I have this nickname.
That is wild. I'm like, okay, I'm sure you remember it better than I do, but in my memory, the way that you got the nickname was that somebody, I thought it was maybe you, but I guess it was your friend, referred to you as Crazy Legs Eric, and then Doan misheard it and thought your name was Babylegs, and then that's how it happened. So I always thought that your nickname was legitimately Crazy Legs your whole life or something.
No, I think at the time I worked out a lot, and I think he was just making fun of me about my like small baby-sized legs.
Okay, well, maybe that. Okay, I feel like maybe because you work at the bicycle shop, like that maybe you had like because you need crazy legs to ride a bicycle, you know, to pedal fast.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's where I misheard it. That's maybe where I made the mistake. But
no, and that's why this is
a good nickname.
No, it is a good nickname, and I'm proud of it, and I love it. And I like you. I like use it like anytime like somebody asks me like for like a nickname or anything. I'll just put Babylegs. But it's just the funniest way that like it started because also explaining this nickname to like somebody who like doesn't like listen to like podcasts or anything, like I just it sounds insane because I'm like, oh yeah, there's like a movie podcast and for some reason they started calling me Babylegs Eric and they're like, okay, whatever, like neat.
Have you ever had to explain that you're not a Rick and Morty fan? Because like 5 years after you got the nickname, Rick and Morty had a joke about a character named Babylegs. So do you ever have to explain that you're not a Rick and Morty head?
Thank God, no. That would be embarrassing. Woof. Okay, that's upsetting because then like now there's probably this whole contingent of people that think it's like I'm just a huge Rick and Morty head and like I gave myself the nickname because of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start explaining to it like right off the bat, like, hey, I'm Babylegs, but it's not a Rick and Morty thing.
Oh man, this is stressful.
It's because I skipped leg day. Oh no,
man,
I'm sorry to have laid that on you.
Yeah, all the podcast town guys have like just cursed me now. I just have to explain this away.
All right, well, we'll have to give you a new nickname. How about Pickle Eric? Is that cool?
Pickle.
Like, do you like that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Pickle Eric is great.
No Rick and Morty affiliations with that one, with that nickname, as far as I can
not
tell.
at all. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. I knew like Sean Byron took off this week, which meant that I would be able to sneak in some Star Trek, and you're a Star Trek man.
Yeah, I am.
I'm glad that you're going to be giving us some expertise on this because I'm only a baby Star Trek man.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm a pretty big Star Trek nerd, but it's one of those things where it's like it's been off the air for so long and all the new Star Trek is like awful, so like I don't really watch it. And the other night I was like watching Generations and then I was like kept pausing it and like babbling to my wife. I'm like, "Oh, this is really funny because blah blah blah." And like she was just like, "Okay, can we just watch this movie?"
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of expertise we need on this episode because there's like a lot of stuff that I feel like I love Star Trek, but I've only seen the movies and the first 2 seasons of TNG, which
Those
I
are the worst
like
seasons.
all of that stuff. Yeah, that's what I also hear. Like the people hate those 2 seasons, and also only like half of the movies are like recognized as good. So like, I feel like I've watched a lot of what Star Trek fans consider shitty Star Trek stuff, but even though like despite all that, I still love it. Yeah,
I feel like being a Star Trek fan it's different, you know what I mean? Because the original show was like, I'm not like an original show guy. Like I've actually never have really watched the original show. But like I just started watching the like the old movies, you know what I mean? With like Kirk and McCoy and all those guys. And I like love those movies. And then, when Next Generation started, that's kind of like when I like actually started like really liking Star Trek. So I'm only like a Next Generation to like Voyager and then the movies kind of guy.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched any of the original series either. I feel like I might like it. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, different. It's one of those things where like I think me and you might be a little similar where I appreciate the old movies, you know what I mean? But I'm not like a Kevin, you know what I mean? Where it's like in love with like the black and white, like monster movies and stuff like that. So like I keep threatening my wife that like we're going to watch the original show, but I'm like, I don't know. It might be like too old to like really get into.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I've seen one episode. I think after like I saw Wrath of Khan, the movie, I went back and watched the episode where Khan was there. Yeah. And I have no memory of it outside of the fact that Khan was in fact there. So it might It might be a little stuffy and boring, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I'll watch it one day.
I think it's also a lot zanier. Like it's like, you know how like the very first episode of like Next Generation was like Q, like the character Q,
Mhm.
where he's like
Indeed,
this god that like controls everything. I think there's like more stuff like that. Like they go to a planet and it's like, you know, some weird like god like character, and it's like way more like philosophical. And I think to me it seems like it's more like episodes of like Twilight Zone instead of like Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like it has way more of that sort of vibe.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good to me, even though I've only seen like 6 episodes of Twilight Zone or something. So
Yeah.
maybe not. I'm jumping the gun on all these things, saying I like Twilight Zone, even though I've seen 6 episodes, and saying I like Next Generation, even though I've only seen 2 seasons. But I feel like I like those things.
Nah, you like them. It's good. You're fine.
Well, in addition to Star Trek, you are my sponsor when it comes to Warhammer. Like,
Yes.
in that,
Absolutely.
much like a person in a 12-step program, like whenever I feel antsy about like some kind of new Warhammer that I need, I give you a call and like you talk me either up or usually up. Like, I guess it's the opposite of having like an AA sponsor, in that we talk to each other and we always talk each other into buying like hugely expensive Warhammer
we always
stuff.
we talk each other into buying stuff. Yeah.
Speaking of which, you need to get a Mordheim crew together, because Mordheim is the tightest shit.
Yeah, Mordheim looks so cool. Like I always see these dudes on Instagram that like build these Mordheim crews and war bands, and it just looks so cool.
Yeah,
I don't know. It
It's
just
definitely
looks
got the
super
best.
fun.
Yeah, it's got my favorite kind of aesthetic of any of the Warhammer stuff, where it's like just grimy ass homeless dudes fighting with knives in alleys. Like it's just wonderful.
Yeah, like the one of the original designers of Warhammer is that artist John Blanche. And they pretty much gave him like total creative like control of Mordheim. They're like, do whatever you want. And like, so the rule book for Mordheim is like just full of his like crazy art and like a lot of fish. Cause I know that like he draws like a lot of like, you know, villagers like holding a fish or something like that. And so it's like, they call it the fish game.
Yeah, there's a lot of old original models where like dudes will have a sword in one hand and a fish in the other, and like they'll have like fish in their helmets and stuff like this. Like it's really weird.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just think it's kind of like a weird medieval aesthetic, but I'm also not British, and like who knows? It could be some weird like British like slang thing where it's like some inside joke that like I don't know, but it'd probably just annoy me if that was the case.
It could be. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of that in Warhammer. Like,
yeah,
I never try to dive too deep into the meaning of things, but like I'll see dudes commenting in the Facebook groups, and they're just like, "Oh, well, you see, Lionel Johnson is funny because during Margaret Thatcher's blah 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 blah," and it's like, all right, I don't need this. I don't need it explained.
Yeah, like a lot of the old characters and stuff like that are like weird play on words, or they're like these like obscure authors and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, like I don't really care about that sort of stuff. Yeah,
it gets deep though. But yes. So seeing as to how this is the segment, here's me introducing this week's special segment. The Venn diagram for people who like Star Trek and Warhammer and junk food dinner is probably small. So I don't know how this is going to go. But I'm going to toss out 2 things, a Warhammer thing and a Star Trek thing. And then you tell me which one is cooler.
Oh, okay. I absolutely can do that.
Okay. I thought that this would be up your alley, in your wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So these are kind of analogous things. So for Warhammer, we've got the orcs, who are like big green orcs. You know them from Lord of the Rings, except in Warhammer, they've got laser guns and they like checkered patterns, like they like ska. And they talk like soccer hooligans. And then in the Star Trek side, we got Klingons, Both of these fellows like war like a lot, and that's like their whole thing. And they're both kind of ugly.
Yeah.
So which you guys do you think are cooler, the orcs or the Klingons?
Man, you're like hitting me with the hard one like right away.
No.
Well,
some of these are probably going to be easier. This might be the hardest one.
No. This is good. Let's talk this out. So, okay. So they're both like warlike races, you know what I mean? And I feel like the Klingons, they're more like honor bound, like warriors, you know, like they're kind of like, they're almost like, you'd think like, almost like samurais, where like their entire culture is like around like the warrior and stuff like that. And everything is kind of like revolving around that. But the orcs are just so gnarly. They're just like unrelenting, like aggression, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I feel that like in a futuristic setting, like a race like the Klingons, I honestly feel like they would not even like advance off of like a planet, let alone be this like starfaring like race, you know? And the orcs don't care about that at all. Like they just want to fight, you know? And as like goofy as that sounds, they're just so badass. Like the orcs are just like, they're like the epitome of like Warhammer. They're just like, they just kind of like sum up this setting. So I would say orcs.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Because
I think that
also not to interrupt, I apologize, but
oh no, you're fine.
If like something happened and you would take the Klingons out of the setting of Star Trek, I feel like the setting is still strong enough for them to like, for it to be around, if that makes sense. Like you could take the Klingons out of Star Trek, you know what I mean? But if you take the orcs out of Warhammer, it's not Warhammer anymore, you know? So I think
true.
it works.
That's definitely true. Yeah, I think like another weird parallel between these two groups is that they're both like kind of Mongolian coded in a way, you know, like,
yeah,
which I think is fun. Okay. The orcs win this round. For the next one, and we'll be talking about one of these factions much deeper later, but we've got the Borg from Star Trek, who are kind of like weird androids that take over humans and turn them into like Hellraiser-y zombie androids.
Yeah.
And on the Warhammer side, we've got the Necrons, who are the Terminator, but also Egyptian.
Yeah.
And I think they have a hive mind, maybe. I'm not too sure on Necron lore, but who do you like better, the Necrons or the Borg?
Well, okay. So, yeah, they sort of have a hive mind, the Necrons, yeah. But I feel like the Borg is like way more fleshed out and kind of cooler. Yeah. Like I don't know, the Necrons, like I feel like it's like they're cool Terminators, you know what I mean? They all look like the Terminator, like T-1000s, but then like they're also like Egyptian, you know? And they also, I don't know. I'm not a big Necron guy.
Yeah.
So I don't
really get the Necrons. Okay.
Yeah,
that definitely makes
cool.
sense.
Yeah, they're cool. And any listeners, if you ever want to start a Warhammer army, pick Necrons. They're super easy to paint.
Yeah, you just spray them silver and you're done.
Yeah, just spray him silver. Yeah, and you're done.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the next one. For the Star Trek side, we got the Vulcans. You know, they're Spock. They're very logical. They live long and prosper guys. They got pointy ears. And I was thinking of two different Warhammer groups to kind of mesh with these guys, but I decided on Admech because they seem very robotic as well. They're like dudes. They're normal dudes who like just put a bunch of like weird robotic implants into their body and worship a robot god. And that seems very logical to me. Like the Vulcans are.
Yeah.
They also live on Mars, which is cool. So of these two guys,
they do
who
live
you
on
like the
Mars.
best?
Well, that's very funny that you picked the Vulcans, but you didn't pick the elves, the space elves.
Yeah, that's the other ones I was thinking, because like they have pointy ears, but
Yeah.
I don't really know much about the space elves other than they're space elves. Like I never really got into their lore, so I know a little bit more about the Admech.
Their lore is pretty wild. It like we'd have to be here for like a couple hours for me to like explain like Eldar lore.
Okay. If there's enough people in the Venn diagram of Star Trek and Warhammer and junk food dinner, then we'll we'll hit that up for a bonus episode sometime.
Yeah, but okay, a Patreon episode for sure.
Yep.
Well, okay. So the Vulcans are like very logical, and you know, they're arguably like one of the biggest like alien races and factions in Star Trek, and you know, one of the biggest like characters. Spock is a Vulcan, and pretty much I think every single show except for DS9 has had a Vulcan in it. But like I've never seen a Vulcan ship. You know what I mean? Like you don't see, like they don't seem like they're that important to the setting, even though they are. Like you just like, oh, they're a part of the Federation, but like besides that, like I'm like you never see any of their ships or anything except for this movie that we're going to talk about. Is like the only time I've ever seen a Vulcan spaceship ever. So I feel like Star Trek treats them almost as like a throwaway character. Like they just they're just like, oh, let's just have like a character that's like, you know, super stuffy and like kind of a pain in the ass to be like the captain's foil, you know?
Yeah.
So like they're the opposite of like the zany character, you know what I mean? Or the comic relief. They're like the opposite of that. They're like the ultimate straight man.
Yeah. Which is why it's fun to watch Spock hang around with Bones, because he's kind of a zany guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the Admech, the Mechanicum, they're just so sick. They're just like, they are like the epitome of like Warhammer as well. Like they're just this race of people that's like super like backwards, and they just like change their bodies and like change them with cybernetic parts, but like willingly. And they're the ones that like make all the weapons, and they like make all the tanks for the Space Marines, you know, and they're the ones that like, you know, technically like made all the Space Marine armor and like everything. They're kind of like the machinists and the weaponsmiths of like the Imperium. And but they're also these like religious zealots that don't actually know how any of this stuff is made. Like, so whenever they turn on like a tank, they have like a bunch of like incense and stuff like that, and it's just like this like weird religious ceremony. And they like, so it's like they're like technically advanced, but they're also like not. They like don't know how any of this stuff works anymore. And I think that's like pretty cool and like kind of like fascinating. So I'm going to say the Admech.
That's understandable. That's actually the computer I had before this computer broke, and I like tried to open it up to fix it. And that's how I felt too. I was just like, if I light enough incense, maybe God will shine upon me and I can fix this computer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's like going to like your grandparents' house and like turning their like their VCR or their TV back on and like, you know, logging into their like fucking Hulu. And then like, you know, they think you're like this whiz, this like tech whiz, but you're like, oh yeah, I did that, you know. And they make you cookies and you're just like, you're a champ.
That's a good way to look at them. Yeah, like the Space Marines are just like their old grandparents who don't know how anything works. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. These are two factions that are deep within my heart. Two of my favorites. On one side, on the Warhammer side, we've got the Tau, who are these weird blue fish men with like goat legs, kind of. And they're sort of space Zen Buddhist communists. And on the other side, we've got the Gorn, who is like a lizard man who fought Captain Kirk one time in the desert.
Yeah.
That's really all we know about him.
Yeah.
But I love both of these guys.
I love both of them too. But the community of Warhammer, for the most part, hates the Tau. Like,
that is true.
Everybody hates playing against the Tau. You know, people complain that they don't fit the setting. You know, that they're like, because they look like Gundams and stuff like that, and like,
yeah, and they're like the only good guys.
Yeah, they're like the only sort of good guys. But then if you look at the Gorn is like a big goofy lizard, like a rubber suit lizard that doesn't look like any other race in Star Trek, you know, like, and Kirk just like fights one, and it's just like, I'm going to go with the Gorn just because they're so funny and goofy. And anytime you see like Kirk fighting the Gorn, like I've never even seen the episode, but I've seen him fight that Gorn a bunch of times. And it's like heartwarming. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And
that's
the Tau's
true. Yeah,
opposite.
the way that
like
Kirk,
the Tau just make people mad and angry. Yeah, they're like the opposite of heartwarming. So I'm gonna go with the Gorn.
Yeah, there's that one guy. I forget his name, but he does like one of the big battle report YouTube channels, and he's like super into Tau. Like I think his nickname is like Tau Nick, maybe. I forget which channel it is, but like anytime he talks about his Tau, like you can see how heated he gets. He's like, a lot of people want to. They just say that they're fishmen and that they're communists, and that's not true. And like he gets really heated. Like people get really heated about the Tau, and that's what I love about them. It's like they're very emotional.
They do. They get like really worked up. Well, you know, if like an entire like community of people like hate you, you know, I get it. But I have no room to talk because like I am starting a Tau army, you know, so you know what?
Sweet.
You know, I'm like my own worst enemy.
It's the only reasonable army. I've got some Taus myself. They're just the best.
Oh, you got some Taus?
Yeah, I got some Taus.
All right.
They're very hard to paint.
You gonna paint them?
I painted them white because I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a bad paint. That's a bad color.
Yeah, I did not realize that. I started painting them. They're like one of the first guys I started painting, even before my Death Watch. And I was yeah, white. Why not? It'll look good. And then after painting like 10 of them, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make Space Marines now. This is hard.
Yeah.
Painting white is the fucking worst.
And they're little. They're like little spindly little dudes.
Yeah.
So you have to like paint these little panels and like little visors and stuff. It's for the birds.
Yeah, they're difficult, but I love them though.
Yeah. But they do have really big, cool mechs, and that sounds super fun to paint.
Yeah, I haven't painted anything like that. I've just painted the dudes. I haven't painted anything big. Oh,
really? Yeah, the big robots are really fun to paint.
Yeah, I would imagine. Okay, so here's a bonus one. This is the final one.
Okay.
Which event in the history of the respective franchise is cooler? In 40K, we've got the Horus Heresy, which is like kind of where everything began. The Emperor's kid betrayed him. He brought in all these weird chaos demons. It was a whole thing. All the Space Marines revolted. Very important thing.
Yeah.
Or the time that everybody on the Starship Enterprise got drunk and then Data had sex with Tasha Yar. Yeah. Which is cooler?
Damn it. Wow.
It's a tough one, right?
Yeah, that is a tough one.
It's
That is
it's
a tough
very
one because
that,
one is like the entire linchpin and backdrop of like the story and the setting. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's just the beginning of the end of like the human race of like when the I'm talking about the horsehair scene, not the drunk one. And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's just like it's like the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? Because Warhammer, I'm sure like maybe like 75% of the junk food dinner fans are like Warhammer fans. Um, it's like the human race. It's like they used to call the setting like 1 minute to midnight because it's like it's on the precipice of like human extinction. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Mhm.
every human is like this like religious zealot, like crazy fundamentalist, like everybody's just like they're back to the wall, and like every human is either like working in a factory making weapons or on the front line defending humanity, and the Horus Heresy is kind of like the beginning of that, and like the beginning of like the setting that like kind of kicks all that off. But
Which
Data is
not to,
arguably go ahead.
sorry, not to interrupt, but that's like one of the things that I love most about Warhammer is that it takes place 10,000 years after the interesting part of the story, which I think is like
Yeah.
just such a cool like concept.
Yeah, definitely. And and it's so funny because the book series, there's a book series, listeners, of the Horus Heresy, and it was originally supposed to be a trilogy of books. Like it started with this book called Horus Rising, and I won't get into it because I could literally babble about this like for like a week straight. Like I could have an IV in me and like just nothing but caffeine and just talk about this straight. But it's it's just like the yeah. Oh, anyways, yeah. This book series was going to be a trilogy, and they just now ended the series in the very final book, and it's been like 73 books. And
Yeah.
like a bunch of novellas and like all this other stuff, and it's just like this huge like epic and about like sons betraying their father and like brothers betraying brothers and like all this cool stuff. But I don't know, Data's pretty sick. He's like one of the
Yep.
coolest characters. And I was actually having this discussion with my wife on my way home, and I think it's very funny that besides Commander Riker, Data's like the only character that like has sex in Star Trek.
Mhm.
Like out
And
of all
yeah.
the characters, he's had sex more than any of the other characters. Like in the story, like in like on not on film. I don't know. I've never seen any of those, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. So I'm gonna go with Data and Tasha Yar.
That definitely makes sense because yeah, it happens in like the third episode of the show. So you're like just taken so aback. Like I was just so shocked when it happened. I was like, all right, this guy, he's like a little robot. He's just like a cute guy, and then
Yeah.
just all of a sudden he's fucking. He's getting drunk and he's just having sex with the chief security officer.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was a cool character too.
Yeah, that she was.
And she was a nice like 90s babe,
Yeah, yeah,
like a 90s network TV babe,
yeah. She looks a lot like Jane from Melrose Place, which I just finished watching. She got that vibe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally. And she actually comes back a couple times in the later seasons.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten
And
there
it's a
yet,
pretty
though. I got to the part.
pretty decent
Yeah, where she
decent story too.
Well, all right. Well, that wraps it up for this Warhammer and Star Trek comparison segment.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
think,
what do you think?
about the Horus Heresy versus Data.
Yeah.
Definitely Data. I mean, like that's just like
Yeah.
the best thing. Like, I mean, you can't top that. Like, he's a robot
and
going around having sex with hot chicks. Like that's just,
yeah,
like
and all the Space Marines are eunuchs too.
yeah,
That's another
they're
thing they
never
don't get
yeah.
into. They don't get in. They don't have sex like at all.
I don't think there's much sex going on in any of the Warhammer universe because like the orcs are like mushrooms. I don't think they have sex.
Yeah.
The Admech, like I don't know about the Tau. I guess the Tau are actually pretty horny. They're probably the only guys having sex.
Yeah, I think the Dark Eldar have a lot of sex. I don't know if it's like the other person's a willing participant, but
yeah,
I think they're having a lot of sex.
Yeah, that's true. They're a pretty horny crew. I think you're right. They're not getting consent. They're like a whole race of like Hellraiser monsters.
Yeah, and it is like a very apocalyptic setting, you know? So, those people are having sex for sure because like what else are you going to do? You can't fight all the time.
True. And the factory's they gotta let you out at some point. You can't work 24 hours a day. Or maybe you can,
like
actually.
I think
it's Warhammer.
No, I think that's what it is I think that like people like get pregnant and they have babies and then those babies just become like child laborers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think like if you're like working in like a munitions factory, you just like live there and like, find somebody next to you and have a baby with them. And then that baby just starts working with you.
Yeah. I think we're a few years away from that here in America, I think. I think it's going to be coming soon.
Yeah, it's going to be coming soon. Yeah, definitely. I could see that. Hey, I'm here for it though. You know what I mean? Like, sure, why not?
Yeah, babies are freeloaders. Like they're just skating by on handouts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. They're kind of like dogs. You know what I mean? But not as like heartwarming and stuff to see.
Yeah, not as lovable or cute.
Yeah, not as rewarding to raise.
Yep. Well, speaking of being rewarding to raise, we've got some voicemails from the listeners who I have helped raise throughout their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least one of them, actually. This first voicemailer is somebody I do claim to have helped raise. Somebody that I took under my wing when they were a baby. So we'll get to that. But first, since you are the guest, you do get to rate these voicemails on the boob scale, which I think is 5 boobs. I think that's the number of boobs we do. Kevin's usually in charge of doling out the boobs. So
is he?
No.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So here's the first one.
He's a real boobsman, huh?
Indeed so, yeah. He usually lets people know how many boobs are on the boob scale. I always forget how many boobs are on the boob scale.
You would think it would be 6. You'd think it'd be an even number, but you know what? Hey, you live and you learn, right?
Well, maybe that's why it's not 5. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to call him after this and ask him how many boobs are on the boob scale. But first,
do we need to take a break for you to call him?
We just might.
Okay.
But yeah, so here's the first voicemail caller. One of the best ones. We haven't heard from her in a long time. This is Mia Sweet.
Please welcome Mia Sweet. Man, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. You're so sweet.
Last night when I was working, I listened to this really long review of the movie AI Artificial Intelligence because I had, I don't know, it's a movie that comes in my mind a lot when I'm in kind of a less than stellar place. So tonight I was just looking for certain scenes on YouTube and I happened to watch the scene again, but it was an extended version of, if you've seen the movie, the Chris Rock robot. There's my kitten, she's sleeping. So she doesn't like the flesh there soon either. The Chris Rock robot, he gets destroyed through this propeller thing, and there's a longer version of it. And you can see more of the robots that are going to be kind of destroyed probably in the cage. And it occurred to me that it would have been really brilliant if they made there's a book that's like about the concept art and shit. It's really expensive now. I'm trying to find like a PDF or something. It's like it's out of print and very expensive. But there's a book, a Nightbreed book that shows from like when Nightbreed came out. It shows a bunch of the monsters with like portraiture and then like a story about them. Well, I wish they had done that with the robots in AI. And shit, because that would have been brilliant. Try to go and look at the robots if you can, because Stan Winston made them, and you can find some info on some of them, like the special security guard Stan Winston robot, and then whatever ones you can kind of parse out what they did by what they look like. But it fucking fascinates me, and it's such an upsetting movie, and I seem to like things that really upset me when I'm feeling upset. Because then at least I feel like I'm being justified in my feelings. That kind of bullshit. But, yeah.
Thank you, Mia, for the voicemail. Babylegs, how would you rate this voicemail on the boob scale?
Well, I'm friends with Mia on Facebook. So 5. And I think AI is a pretty good movie. I remember seeing it in the theater and really enjoying it and like loving it. And then when I got home, I started watching reviews and stuff, and everybody hated it. And it's like one of these weird movies that like is like maligned by like audiences. But I really like it, and I like that call. 5 boobs.
I agree about the boobs. And yeah, I kind of don't remember what I felt about this movie. I don't know. I didn't understand the ending of it, because like some weird stuff happens at the ending that
like aliens come down and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the way I interpreted it. But then I watched like reviewers say that is not what happens, and that those aliens are actually different robots, and it just does not read like that at all on screen. I mean, I guess that makes more sense, but they look exactly like aliens. Like they're just normal aliens, like gray aliens.
Yeah, that was the vibe that I got. That was like, like the humans went extinct, and like thousands of years later, like an alien race came and like rediscovered Earth and dug up that kid and like turned them back on. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that how it ended?
That's the way I took it. Yeah. That's what I thought. But yeah, the next voicemail we have is from another regular. Here he goes.
Live from New York, it's Mr. Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian.
Junk food is dinner or supper. I'm not sure which show my voicemail is going to show up on, because it's Thursday. I normally make sure I call in on Tuesday. Anyway, it's Mr. Brian in New York. I will not be able to make it to the meetup. I know some of you know, but I have paint peeling on my car that's in my tailgate area and close to the roof, and I don't know how long it's been going on, but I was led to believe that it was going to be covered by Honda, and Honda turned around and, told me something different. So a big fuck you to the Honda Motor Corporation and the shitty paint they use to paint their cars. So I can't make it, unfortunately. Meetup number 2 next year, I definitely am. But the main reason for my call is I hope you guys are going to get your picture taken at the meetup with Natasha Henstridge, and maybe you could tell her to call into the voicemail and just maybe leave a short voicemail message saying how it was nice to meet everyone and say you got any species, you know. I thought that might be kind of funny. So anyway, that's it. Hope you guys are well. Thanks for taking my call. Sorry I can't attend the meetup. I hope I'm forgiven, and love the shows always. Peace, and I hope that you guys will watch Flash Gordon on either show at some point this month. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Brian. It is very sad that you will be coming to the meetup. I was very excited when he said he was coming at first, but cars break. You know, it happens. But Babylegs, how would you rate this voicemail on the boob scale?
I don't know. It kind of sounds like he needs to get his priorities straight. One boob, you know? I'd take a Greyhound.
That's a good point. Yeah. Sell your car, Mr. Brian.
Mm-hmm. So, and, well, to be fair, Parker, you could go over there and paint his car. I know you know how to paint.
Yeah, I'll use my miniature paints.
Yep.
My tiny little brushes.
No, I say four boobs. I like Brian.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do that though?
Me and Kevin were talking about that. We're trying to like figure it out logistically, because if you get your picture taken with somebody at a horror convention, as we will be doing in Cincinnati, March 22nd through 24th, the Horror Hound Convention, it's like X amount of dollars for like two people, and then you have to keep paying for every other two people. So we kind of have to figure out who all's going to be involved and like coordinate and stuff. So, and I think you might have to do it before the actual convention starts, like reserve your picture spot. So we might have to talk about that in the Discord soon. But yeah, I think that would be perfect. Like to get anybody who comes to get in a picture with Natasha Henstridge, and then to also pay her whatever she wants to say, y'all got species, because that would make life worth living.
You know what? You should give her one of those shirts.
That is a good point. I think that.
Do you have
Sean
any
might
left?
have a few. I think Sean's got some, because he made those as like with the y'all got species shirts with the long phone cords.
Yeah, she can't have mine, but I have one.
Okay, well, that's very selfish of you.
Yeah.
I think Sean probably has like a room full of them, because he was like very proud of that shirt when it came out. So we'll try to do that. Or actually, they're probably still for sale, because he put them on like an evergreen website. So they're probably still out there somewhere. So
yeah,
we should all probably wear the same shirt.
Yeah, you should all wear the same shirt. And because that, isn't that drawing, isn't it pretty much just like an actual drawing of Kevin's body?
I believe so, yeah.
Isn't that what he looks like? That's what I envision him looking like underneath his clothes. Which is,
I think he does have. He's very Geiger-esque. He's like very pointy and
and
spherical.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
That's one thing that people notice about Kevin, is how translucent he is.
Yeah, and how hauntingly sexual he is. Yeah.
That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan for the meetup, is that we're going to take a picture with her. Or I think we're still figuring it out. But Mr. Brian did call back, which normally we don't go for these callbacks. But I told him in the Discord that it was okay, because Blade Runner last week was a really long movie, so it's okay to have really long voicemails this week. So here he is again.
Hello, Junk Food Supper. I didn't mean to call back twice. I know the rule. Please don't delete my message. I'm listening to the Blade Runner episode, and Parker, you were asking Sean if your audio levels were good. I believe it was 2 weeks ago when you did the episode with Kevin Moss. I couldn't hear it at all, man. I had to keep turning my volume up and down, up and down. It was only when you talked, so that's just some feedback for you. And I heard you guys talking about the Mandalorian movie. That is true. No season 4. And we have to wait till 2026 to see The Mandalorian again. So that's like 3 years. So yeah, another fuck you to Disney for making people wait so long. So, all right, that's it. Thanks for taking my call, guys. Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Brian. You're right. My audio levels were screwed up a couple of weeks ago. I think they're fixed now, hopefully. They seem to be
think you
fixed
sound
last
great.
week when I edited. Well, thank you very much. But yeah, we were actually talking about this before the show, but yeah, I always feel really bad when my audio levels are messed up, and it gives me anxiety thinking about it. So thank you for bringing it up, Mr. Brian.
Oh, I don't like that one bit. One boob for that last call. Too critical.
For giving me anxiety.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit.
I appreciate that.
Are you a Mandalorian guy?
I like it. I think it's probably like the best Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like it a lot. Season 3 kind of sucked, but outside of that, I liked it. Are you a fan?
Yeah, I like Mandalorian. I thought season 3 was kind of weird. I'm not a big like. I don't know. It's hard. Like we'll get into this and stuff, but I feel like being like a fan of anything nowadays is like such a minefield of just like just wading like through like criticism. You know what I mean? And you just like, because you just hear criticism about stuff all the time, and like the criticism is so like unhinged sometimes. Where you know what I mean? Like everyone's just complaining that like the season like focused on like Bo-Katan and stuff like that. And then like you hear all this weird like feminist agenda, and I'm like, okay, like it's just like it's like space pirates, man. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like get that like emotionally invested in this stuff. And I don't know. I think Bo-Katan's a cool character, and I think she's played good. So, you know, whatever. I don't know. I think Moff Gideon's a cool bad guy, and they killed him off. So it's like, I don't really know where they would go with it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. My problem with season 3, I saw like, that's one thing that sucks about like having criticisms about like a Star Wars or something like that is because like, I just didn't understand season 3 because I didn't watch Clone Wars or whatever. So I didn't understand who all these characters were. So me saying that I don't like season 3, people probably automatically think that I don't like it because like women were in it, you know, because like that's like the main thing you hear on the internet. Or like,
yeah, exactly.
I didn't like Captain Marvel, but it's not because I hate women. It's just it's kind of a boring movie, you know. So I agree with you. It sucks having criticisms of things sometimes.
Yeah, and like you know, because like you know, I know me and you, because I've called in a few times about Marvel stuff. And have been mocked by like Kevin and Sean, whatever. But you know, like I've been a big Marvel guy, and I don't really like it as much anymore. And I don't really think it's because of like the whole like MCU like conspiracy or like any of that stuff. I just think that like all the cool characters, like they're just using like the D tier characters now, and people just don't care.
Yeah, and they're using like D tier characters who don't really have a lot of like comic book stories to draw from. Like,
yeah,
you know, like
I feel like they're drawing from like a really bad era of comic books. You know what I mean? Like I think right now they're drawing from like the like 2010 like Marvel comic books, and like those are like not great.
Yeah. I think that's the case.
I think that's the main issue is that they're just like, you know, they're just kind of making meandering stories about characters that no one really is like invested in, you know. And I don't know, having to go to the movie theaters like 4 times a year to like catch up on Marvel movies is like, that's not going to happen. Like there's no way. Like the last movie I think I even saw in the theater was like Doctor Strange, which I enjoyed, but the experience of going to the movie theater is always so harrowing and like just for the birds anyways.
Well, speaking of going to the movie theater, we're going to talk about a movie here. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to talk about Star Trek First Contact. So stick around.
In his nightmares, he can see them. In his mind, he can hear them.
Locutus.
In his soul, he can feel them.
I've just received a report from Deep Space 5. Long-range sensors have picked up...
Yes, I know. The Borg. Set a course for Earth. Maximum warp.
Now, in Earth's darkest hour, he must fight them again.
Captain, Earth. Life signs?
Population approximately 9 billion. All Borg.
How?
Time travel. They went back and assimilated Earth. Changed history. I must follow them back. Repair whatever damage they've done.
But this time, they must travel to the past.
April 4th, 2063.
To save our future.
You're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek. They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here.
It looks like the control deck's 26 up to 11.
Mr. Data and I are returning to the ship. Don't let them touch you!
Captain!
Data! We must activate the auto-destruct sequence. You want to destroy the ship and run away. You coward. If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
Let's rock and roll!
Destroy them. Watch your futures end.
Our shields and our weapons are gone. Resistance is futile.
Perhaps today is a good day to die.
Jean-Luc, blow up the damn ship!
No! We are not going to lose the Enterprise. Not to the Borg, not while I'm in command.
Star Trek First Contact.
Welcome back to Junk Food Supper. What we're going to do now is talk about the movie Star Trek First Contact from 1996. This is the second Next Generation Star Trek movie. It came out, I think, like right after the show ended. It's directed by Jonathan Frakes, who is also William Riker in the movie. He directed a few other movies than this. This one picks up like just immediately, like right as soon as the credits end. Everybody's freaking out. They're going to war with the Borg, who are, as we talked about earlier, these kind of like robot hive mind android creatures who take you over, assimilate your flesh, turn your zombie body into a super cool gothic robot, and they just want to assimilate all life in the universe, and that's what they're going to do. So they're attacking the Federation of Planets. My man, Jean-Luc Picard, helps fight them off. It looks like he wins, but the Borg go back in time to Earth to like 20 years from the present day, right now, our present day, not their present day, and attempt to assimilate Earth back when everybody was stupid babies in a post-apocalypse after World War III. And so that's basically the plot. A lot of other stuff happens. A lot of stuff happens in this that like I don't understand because it happens after the end of the show. So there's like a lot of stuff that that I don't get. Like my man Worf has his own ship. He's not part of the crew anymore. Geordi has eyeballs. Stuff like that. Like, is this all like? And then I think there's like some characters from like Deep Space Nine or something roaming around in here too. Maybe.
No,
I don't know.
There wasn't any. The only so the reason why Worf, he's on that other ship called the Defiant. On Deep Space Nine. So Deep Space Nine started, I believe, like the 5th or 6th year like season of like when TNG was still on, you know? So it was like they kind of like overlapped a little bit. And like TNG ended, and then it was like season 2 of Deep Space Nine, and then in season 3, Worf joins the cast of Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, Deep Space Nine, by the way, arguably, this might be controversial, my favorite Star Trek anything. Like, Deep Space Nine is so good.
I have heard that may be the best one. That's like a little bit more action packed, right? That's like they're like war dudes, right?
Well, it's not that it's action packed. It's just that you know, the thing with like Star Trek, especially like the old show and Next Generation, is that they're like scientists.
Yeah.
And they're like they're they're like trying to discover stuff, and like they're like kind of like straight-laced scientists and stuff like that, and they're like, I don't know, they're just like they're kind of a peaceful people, you know. But Deep Space Nine is like this space station that's on like the edge of like their kind of like galaxy or whatever, and like they're like kind of like out in the boonies, if you will, and there's a lot of like seedier elements to it. Like there's like a bar, and there's like crime, and like there's these like alien like scumbags and stuff like that. So it's like you kind of see like these like other kind of characters and like other interactions like within the like Star Trek universe.
That definitely sounds sweet, because Gonzo's going crazy. But yeah,
your little dog.
Yeah, Gonzo's going nuts. He's jumping all around.
Your little bad
He's
dog.
excited to hear about. Yeah, but that sounds exciting, because like I love like the kind of stuffiness of everybody being like diplomats and scientists and stuff. But yeah, seeing the seedy side of Star Trek also sounds fun.
Yeah, and it fits. It fits in the universe and stuff like that, you know. Because, you know, the human race is kind of like gone away from like money and like and all this other stuff, and they're not very like warlike. They defend themselves when they have to, but they don't try to like conquer anything. They're not trying to like get resources. It's not, you know, it's like a very utopian way of looking at the future. But not all the races like interact like that or like behave like that. So it's like kind of cool to like see the like other side of that universe. And
that sounds sweet.
But Worf joins the cast, and it's like the show's good, and then Worf joins it, and it's like so sick. Like, dude, Worf is like the coolest. I love Worf. And like there's like tensions kind of start flaring up with this like these like other races and stuff like that. So like the and because of like the Borg invasion in the show, because like there's been like multiple Borg invasions in like, you know, Next Generation. And we'll get into that, because that's actually like a thing that like instantly I had a gripe with this movie in the very beginning of it. So the Federation was like, okay, we have to like start actually building warships. You know what I mean? We actually have to like defend ourselves. You know what I mean? And like not just use these science vessels with like torpedoes and stuff like that. So like that's what the Defiant is. It's like the one of the first Federation like warships where it's just made for war.
Sounds super cool. I'm into it, especially and I love Worf. Like he sounds perfect for that role. Like that's wonderful.
Yeah, and so he gets stationed. Like there, I think like the tensions between the Klingons and the Federation start getting like a little weird and stuff like that, and so there's a lot more Klingons on Deep Space Nine, and so like the Federation like asks Worf like, hey, can you be stationed on this station and kind of like help kind of like negotiate and just kind of be like a Federation Klingon liaison, if you will. And then so like that's kind of how he gets stationed there. And it's pretty cool, and he gets like promoted to commander, and that's like so sick. Like seeing Worf in like the red like uniform because he's like Riker, you know what I mean? Like the same like rank as Riker and stuff like that. And I just think it's really cool.
Yeah, I love Worf a lot. I especially love him in this movie. And like this movie kind of like, you know, like we mentioned, like these guys are like diplomats and like scientists and stuff. And like they're stuffy, like, you know, like they're drinking their Earl Grey tea and everything like that most of the time. So like,
yeah,
whenever they get like a little bit like heated, it like goes a long way because normally they're so reserved. And like, there's a scene in this where Picard and Worf are like getting heated with each other, and like Picard calls Worf a coward, which is like, and like Worf is like, "Yo, if you were anybody else, I'd fuck you up." And it's like by normal movie standards, it's like a pretty reserved argument between two guys, but because it's like Star Trek, it's like just off the rails. Like it's like the most emotion you could imagine for Star Trek.
Yeah, and it's also one of these things too. It's like where if you're a fan of the show, it's like they've had this relationship for so long, and you know what I mean. And like Worf has been like this, like just like a stoic like member of like the Enterprise forever, and then he goes off and kind of like makes his own like career. You know what I mean? Like he becomes a commander. And then he has like he's a captain of a ship, you know what I mean? And it's just like, so it's just funny. It's like, it's kind of like really impactful. Like when like him and Picard have that like argument or whatever. I don't know. It's cool. It's good stuff.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite parts of this. But, so yeah, being a Star Trek man, when did you see this movie? What do you think about it? How does it compare to the other TNG movies? And what is your gripe about the Borg?
I saw all these like in the theater. I pretty much like saw like Generations, and I saw this in the theater, and I haven't actually seen any of the other ones. I like got older and started becoming like a cool guy and stopped like watching as much like Star Trek, I think, and I just kind of like fell out of it. And so like I never really like bothered watching any of the other movies. Because I don't know, they're kind of different. You know what I mean? Like it's like the Picard in the movies is kind of different than the Picard in the TV show. I actually just like rewatched TNG, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager like last year. So this is perfect timing for this episode.
Okay. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was fate. It was fated.
I think that's probably true.
But so like my first gripe is like and I don't have a lot of gripes. I enjoyed this movie a lot. Actually, I thought it was cool. But my first gripe was, you know, Picard kind of goes on the bridge and he's like, "Oh, Starfleet Command doesn't want us anywhere near this like Borg invasion, blah blah blah, because they don't trust me because Picard had been assimilated by the Borg like years before." Which sounds understandable, right? Like that makes sense. But he had like fought the Borg multiple times on TNG since he was assimilated. And like anytime there was like Borg invasions or Borg issues, like Starfleet would ask him to like spearhead it. You know what I mean? So it's like so it's like, okay, like, but now it's like this big thing. I don't know. It's just, I just think it was just a thing to kind of more for like general audiences, because they knew like a bunch of newbies would go see it, to like make him seem like way more of like a renegade, like badass, like he's more of a bad boy, if you will.
He definitely he disobeys orders at the very beginning, so it does make it seem like he's a tough bad boy. But yeah, also it makes it seem like once he was assimilated, like he had never seen the Borg before, like since then, is the way that the movie plays it. So that's
exactly. But no, he had fought the Borg like multiple times, like after that.
Okay. And how do you feel about the Borg in general? Because I think that I've only seen them in the movie. I haven't seen them in the show, but like, I think that they're fucking rad. Like like Terminators, but they're also Hellraiser monsters, and like they're like they play them like a horror movie villain in the movie. Like they're shot like horror movie villains. Like they're super scary. They do this thing where like they'll be walking around the ship and they ignore like Captain Picard and everybody. Like Captain Picard says, "Oh, they won't like try to kill us until they think we're a threat," which is like so super scary. Like it's like everything about them is great. How do you feel about them?
I love the Borg. Did you ever see like the episode when the Borg came?
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, well, do you want me to spoil? Yeah, I'm going to spoil it. Whatever.
All right. Well, it's already spoiled by virtue of the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen the movie, so I guess it's already
the movie spoiled it. So that character Q, that's like the godlike character, that's like this like weird like trickster that like he likes fucking with Picard and stuff like that. He like has like he really likes Picard. So he, he's on the Enterprise fucking with Picard, and Picard is kind of like giving him shit, you know what I mean? Saying that like, you have all this power and like you don't do anything with it. You just like fuck with people. And he's like, we're all scientists and we're like discovering new worlds and we're like bringing peace to like the universe and like all this stuff, you know what I mean? Like this very like idealistic look on the universe. And Q is kind of like no, like you don't know like what the universe is actually like. Like he's like, there's things out there that don't care like about you at all, like that don't care what your outlook is, don't care about your civilization, that they are just like forces of nature and you have no idea like what is actually out there. And so he grabs the Enterprise and then he like shoots it like millions and millions and millions of like light years into like I think it's like the Beta Quadrant or something like that, or the Delta Quadrant, one of the quadrants. You know what I mean? Because like the galaxy's like all divided up in these like quadrants, and it's like, it's like the furthest reaches of space that would take you like, like 80 years to get to at like warp speed, And so they throw the Enterprise out there, and then it's like, boom, they're right in front of a Borg cube. And then the Borg is like gonna like assimilate them, and is just like, resistance is futile. And then like Picard is like, trying to like reason with them and like, trying to like talk to them. And then they just like beam on the deck and just like start fucking everybody up. And they start like assimilating like crew members and like all this other stuff. And like they like try to shoot the Borg with phasers, and then they have shields and they can't like hurt them. And then like Worf goes and like fights one, and then like they like instantly fuck up Worf, like their toughest like crew member. And then so they're just like balls to the wall. Like the Enterprise and the crew is like getting fucking murked. They're getting fucked up. And so like it goes back and forth like that for a while. What was that?
To interrupt real quick, that makes me so happy then that Worf gets revenge in this movie, because he fucks up so many of them in this movie, and he does it in like zero gravity, and it's like fucking rad. So that makes me even more hyped for Worf in this movie.
With like a Klingon sword. Yeah. That's tight. And so like they're like no match for the Borg. Like there's like nothing they could do. Like they can't do anything to like these things. And then so like Picard pretty much has to like plead with Q and like begs Q to like send them back. You know what I mean? And so Q sends them back. You know what I mean? And like, so Q's like, okay, like this was a test. Like I wanted you to see that like, your idealized view of the universe is like wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so pretty much like, they go back and like they get saved by Q, and like the crazy thing is about the TV show is that Borg cube that that was like that the Enterprise like what like saw or like rendezvoused with or whatever. Like they learn about Earth because of like the crew members that they assimilated and stuff like that, and so they pretty much just start warping towards Earth. And like two years later, like 2 seasons later, they're like, oh, like we're getting like they're like getting like warnings of like a Borg cube like entering space, and then they like have to fight the Borg again.
Makes me so mad at Q that this is all his fucking fault. Like that guy was a piece of shit in the first episode, and then he brings all this on everybody. Fuck that guy.
But arguably, Q could have been giving them a warning because the Federation had 2 years to prepare for the Borg invasion, and they would have never had that, like, those 2 years of preparing.
Ah, I see.
If the Borg would have came to their system naturally, they would have had like no defense for it.
I see. So he was being a sneaky good guy.
So
Q.
You could say he was being a sneaky good guy.
Okay. All right. Well, I respect him again.
Yeah. Q's sick. I love Q.
Yeah.
So you know, the Borg enters Federation territory, and like they have like this like team of like hotshot like Federation like young commanders that are like, oh, we've been like studying the Borg for like the last 2 years, and like we're gonna like, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like they had like some like commander come, some like young like lady come to the Enterprise and was like, oh yeah, like I've been studying the Borg for like 2 years, and I'm like I know what's up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Enterprise like sees the Borg and they instantly get fucked up, and then they just like, they're like no match for the Borg. They retreat back to like Earth, and then they pretty much get like this crazy like armada of like Federation ships. It's like the most like Federation vessels like at once, you know, and then they go and like they meet the Borg cube to like fight it. They all get fucking destroyed. Like I think like every single ship except the Enterprise is destroyed. It's like the most Federation vessels like destroyed like in a single day ever.
So then if the Borg is doing all this to these guys and just like unmercifully destroying everybody, how, like, is it a little weird then that the Enterprise beats the Borg so easily at the beginning of this movie? Is that weird?
Yes and no. So the thing is that the Borg, they like adapt to stuff, and they like, you know, they're like unrelenting and stuff, but they also do have like some weaknesses, and like the humans kind of like find those like they figure out that like their shields like do this weird like modulation thing where like I guess like the way that the weapons work in the future is that like they have a frequency. So like every like phaser has like a frequency. And so like if you match the frequency, you like block it. And so like their shields like modulate, but like, so like all the Federation, they like learn how to like have their like weapons like modulate like at the same time. So like they figure out like weapons that can hurt the Borg.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense then. Cause yeah, the Enterprise storms in and like they beat the Borg cube, and then there's like an escape pod that goes to Earth and like time travels back in the olden days.
Yeah.
So then, yeah. So the Enterprise in this has to go to Earth, and like it's like kind of like weird and interesting. Like they go back to Earth to like the very first guy who made contact with aliens, and like they have to make sure that he does that to like set the timeline straight. It's like some weird time travel logic that I don't quite understand.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because I guess at that date there's like a Vulcan vessel like flying by, and then they like see a warp signature, so then they come and investigate, and then that's when they like make first contact.
Yeah. And so like, yeah, Picard and all these dudes have to make sure that still happens despite the fact that the Borg are on Earth and like taking over Earth.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And then, yeah, so like they meet up with James Cromwell, who's like this Earth engineer. And everything with him is very fun because, like, he hates the fact that he's like famous in the future, which is fun. And then it's also fun to watch like dudes like Geordi, like just like fanboy over this guy. Like,
Yeah.
It'd be like, if like a scientist today like met Galileo or fucking, somebody like this, like Archimedes, like they'd just be like, oh my God, you're the best. And so it's like a lot of really funny, cute scenes like that in this.
Yeah, it was good. And you asked earlier about Geordi's like visor, his eyes.
Oh yeah, he's got eyes in this.
That was just for that movie. Like that was never a thing.
Oh, okay. So like
even in the movie before, like the Generations, he had his visor.
Yeah, he did. So I'm blanking on his name, but the actor was probably just like, yo, I'll come back for the next movie, but I don't want to wear that stupid visor anymore. Is that basically?
No, that's actually 100%. Like
okay.
LeVar Burton, like he was like, he said, he's like, can I wear contacts instead? Like I'm sick of not being able to see, like, and so that was like one of his like stipulations to come back.
Well, that rules. Yeah. I'm glad after like one movie and like 9 seasons of TV, he finally got that. Cause that would probably be annoying to have to act in those little visors all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't even know he couldn't see out of that until like I watched some like behind the scenes thing, and they're like, yeah, he can't see. He's like, he hates it.
Well, he does a good job because like he walks around a bunch and like I've never seen him bump into anything on, in the show.
Yeah.
So he must.
He does great.
Yeah, he does a good job. There's a scene in this that I love where like the Borg is like some of them are in the Enterprise and they're like moving around and trying to get up to like the main part of the Enterprise, and like Picard takes them he gets them to chase him to the holodeck, and then he turns the holodeck into like a 1950s book, like a Raymond Chandler book, like The Big Sleep or something. And and then so he's like, doing like gangster shit, and the Borg eventually catch on to him. So while wearing a tuxedo in like this beautiful like jazz bar, he guns down 2 Borgs with a Tommy gun. And it's the best thing I've ever fucking seen in my entire life.
Yeah, he's like screaming the whole time.
Yeah, because he was assimilated on the show. He like hates these Borgs. Like he's like, when he's killing them, he's like all into it. Like, which is crazy because it's Picard. And like I said, he like drinks his tea all the time, and he's like a diplomat, and he's like the most even keeled dude. But he's just like screaming. He's like got all this bloodlust.
Yeah,
it's like the best. Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, it's funny because like I think that was like probably a stipulation of like Picard, like what's his name?
Patrick Stewart?
I'm blanking on his name. Yeah, Patrick Stewart. I think that was like a stipulation where he was just like, oh, like I'm no longer a television actor. I'm a movie actor, so I'm gonna like act my balls off. You know what I mean? So like that's why like the Picard in the movies is like way more like emotional and like freaks the fuck out.
Yeah, that he does. He freaks out a lot in this, and he like yells at people, and he's a much more emotional Picard. But I mean, but that's like the beauty of this movie is like, these guys took him over, so he fucking hates them. So that's like the emotional like core of the movie.
It's funny because I've seen like reviews of this movie before, and like they gripe about the same thing I'm kind of griping about how Picard's character is like not exactly the same. But that part when he's like in his captain's chambers, and he's like talking to that one like the human scientist from the past or whatever. And because she's not one of his like crew members, she's just like, dude, like you're like Captain Ahab, blah blah blah, you're like, you're jeopardizing everybody for revenge. And like he has that speech about how like how the Federation always like retreats, like they take a planet and they retreat, and they take a system and they retreat. I thought that was actually like a pretty cool speech. And it kind of like not justified it, but it kind of like made sense. It's just like, like, you know what? Like after being this like stoic diplomat for so many years, and like this like unrelenting enemy is still like has you by the balls, it's like, yeah, you probably would snap after a while.
Yeah. I mean, he says he's been like having nightmares about these dudes for 6 years and like, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen most of TNG, I guess, but it seems reasonable that he would feel this way to me after only 2 seasons or whatever that I've seen him in and all the movies.
Yeah. Those episodes, the episode when he like, he gets, assimilated or whatever, that was like the season finale. And so like, you know, all summer long, like I was like, oh my God, Captain Picard's a Borg. Like what's going to happen? That was like the cliffhanger back when like TV was like TV and like cliffhangers meant something.
Yeah.
And so like those 2 episodes, I forget the name of the episodes, but dude, those 2 episodes are so good. Like they're so killer. And like, it's like Riker has like a really cool like character stuff in that episode. And like, it really like makes you like look at the 2 characters like very different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
I look forward to seeing them. And then
yeah, we should pause the episode and you should watch all of them now.
I agree. Yeah. So my other main man, Data, he's in this and he gets assimilated early on. He's a robot, by the way. He's an android and he gets assimilated by the Borg, but he's like his whole thing in TNG is that he wants to be more human. And he kind of gets that with the Borg. Like they start grafting skin onto him, like the zombie skin. And he's like, he gets feelings from it. And he's like getting turned on by this Borg queen and he wants to have sex with her. So like, I really love his stuff in this movie because he's like, you know, being assimilated by the Borg, but it's like kind of willingly, like it's not like in an evil way. Like he just feels like if he does this, then maybe he can be more human. And it's like this, I don't know. It's just like this interesting, like philosophical sort of ethical thing that I think rules and that you don't get a lot of in big budget science fiction action movies anymore. Even though this movie's only from 1996, but yeah, everything with him is great in this movie. Are you a big Data man?
Yeah, oh, dude, Data is so sick. I love Data. And Brent Spiner is like so good in this. Like he's just like so good as Data. Like Data is like the coolest character. And yeah, he and that's also another thing about the movies is it's like it's a lot more like fan service too, which is good. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with fan service because like the whole time Data always like wanted emotions and he tried to become more human. And in Generations, he gets like an emotion chip and he like starts having emotions and stuff like that. And in this one, he gets like human skin grafted on him and like he gets like the sense of like pleasure and like pain and stuff like that. It's good.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's a great sort of science fiction query. Like, you know.
Yeah. And what do you think? Do you think they banged him and the Borg Queen?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, just like in front of all the fucking drones walking around.
Yeah.
Just like a couple of fucking savages. It's disgusting.
Yeah. So throughout the movie, and I mean, we're going to get deep into spoilers and everything here, but Picard, like before they leave, Picard has to go and rescue like Data, which is kind of, I feel like, I don't want to say out of character, but a little atypical because like he's such a like logical by the books dude that I feel like it would be more in character for Picard to just be like, well, we'll have to cut ties with Data. Fuck it. We got to get, you know, the needs of the many type of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's also one of the big things about Star Trek is that there's like this test that you do in Starfleet Academy. I forget the name of it. It's like something Maru or something. It's like this it's this test that like every commander and every like, I don't know if like all the like Starfleet attendees have to do it or if it's just the people going into like higher command or whatever. And it's essentially like a unwinnable situation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a situation where you have to send people to their death. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so it's one of those things where it's like every Starfleet captain and commander is going to like send people to die to save the rest of the crew. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's super out of character, and it's like super out of like literally Picard has actually sent Data before to die on missions. You know what I mean? Like in the show. Like there's been episodes where like Geordi or somebody's been in a situation where like, you know, the captain's like, you know, make it so, and like they're going to die, you know what I mean? But like obviously it's TV and they like get rescued at the last minute. But it's like, no, like Picard has literally sent Data to die before. Like it's like not, he wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem a little bit weird, but at the same time, like, I didn't feel this way the first time I watched this. I've seen this movie twice, but watching it this time, like, it kind of plays a little ambiguous because, like, he goes in and he's like, "Hey, the Borg, you know, I know you want me to be back in the Borg. Let Data go, and you can have me." And it plays as like a noble sacrifice on one hand, but it also plays like, well, like he still has some of the Borg in him, so maybe he just wants to be part of the Borg. Like, and the movie doesn't really address it. Like, it just kind of like leaves it there as like a question, and I think that fucking rules. Like, I think that that's like so smart and so interesting. And then the Borg is like, no, like I like Data more, and it's so like the, you know, it kind of, the answer to the quandary gets kind of, you don't have to think about it and we don't have to answer it because the Borg answers it for us, which is like really smart too. Yeah, I think that like everything in the ending is fucking great. And like there's like also a bunch of explosions happening like around this, like Worf is killing a bunch of people while this is happening, while we're getting like these really,
it's like super action packed.
Yeah, so like it's all this action packed stuff, but then also like these really interesting like philosophical quandaries about what it means to be human and blah blah blah. You know, so like I just think it's wonderful. The whole ending of this movie rules.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. I really enjoyed this movie actually a lot. I hadn't seen it since like I saw it in theaters.
Okay, so yeah, so it was a long time.
I watched Generations the day before, because I thought we were watching Generations, so I watched that one.
Oh no,
that one's cool. That one's good. It doesn't hold up as much though.
Yeah, I like some of that, but not it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's weird stuff in it, like Commander Kirk, like living on a
like I think
farm.
Captain Kirk and stuff is like kind of a cop out. Like I feel like Generations was the very first TNG movie, you know what I mean? But I feel like they just like shoehorned in Kirk just to be like, oh, it's like the passing of the baton, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I always like thought that was like kind of lame or whatever because he's like barely in it. He's like in the beginning and at the very end. And like, I don't know. I feel like Kirk and like, and Picard like don't really have that good of like chemistry that much, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It didn't. And yeah, there's some good stuff in there, but it's not that great. And then the last two TNG movies are, I think one of them's good if I remember correctly. And then there's one about a clone that fucking sucks really bad.
Yeah. And isn't that Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy is Captain Picard's clone for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. Why not?
I don't remember anything about it other than that. But
yeah, I don't think I've seen that one, so I guess I'll check it out. Why not?
Yeah, that one's bad, but the other one's good, I think, if I remember correctly. But
okay, Insurrection.
Yeah, Insurrection. I don't remember what it's about, but I remember it being pretty good. I
think that one's about the Fountain of Youth.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I watch a lot of like Star Trek lore videos, so I probably got like the whole like synopsis already.
Yeah.
Just from that.
Yeah. Well, there's so much stuff that happens in this movie that if you weren't caught up, you wouldn't know. Like, you know, you wouldn't know that Picard was a Borg. You wouldn't know like the stuff you explained, like Worf having his own ship. You wouldn't know why Robert Picardo is there.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of stuff like
Which
that.
I forgot about that scene, and I was stoked when I saw the doctor.
Yeah, I like that guy. I haven't seen him on the show, but
because like, dude,
I like
that
him
guy,
too.
dude, he's so fucking funny on the show. He's so good.
Yeah, I've not seen him on the show, but I know who he is, and I know that I like him because I watch a lot of the Red Letter Media Star Trek videos. So I feel like I've seen.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen the whole series already, but yeah, I like seeing him. But yeah, this movie really like drops you in, which I appreciate. I like that they assume that you've watched all the other Star Trek shit.
Yeah. Apparently, this was like the biggest, like the most successful Star Trek movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the best
Like
one.
out of
I
all
think.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really good. There's some pretty sick original like cast movies.
Yeah, Khan is great.
Like the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. The time travel one, Undiscovered Country's good.
Yeah, and I think that like all the Klingon and like Kirk stuff is really good because he like hates the fucking Klingons.
That he does. They killed his boy, which is fucking rude.
Yeah.
Also in this movie, there's a really cool scene where Riker and Deanna Troi get drunk, and I think it's very funny. It's like cute to see her drunk. Although it's sort of weird because all the music and ambient sound drops out during that scene, which I think is maybe a mistake. Like there's just like no ambient noise at all, even though they're like in the forest with a bunch of other people. So Jonathan Frakes maybe needs to fire his sound crew for that one.
Fire his sound guy. I think he like directed a bunch of TNG episodes and like episodes of Voyager and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he might have directed some of the new Picard episodes too, but I'm not.
Oh, okay. I hear that the first 2 seasons are like total dog shit, and then the 3rd season they actually like gave the fans what they wanted and like reassembled like the old crew and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hear season 3 is good,
and so everyone likes season 3.
Yeah, I'll check it out when I get to that point. I got a lot of seasons to go before I get that far.
Yeah, and it's insane too, because like you start watching these episodes of like Star Trek, and there's like 25 episodes a season. That's like insane. That's like insane now.
Yeah, TV used to be wild with all these fucking episodes. Like I just got done watching Melrose Place, and like those seasons were like 32 episodes or something, and there's like 8 seasons, 7 seasons. So I just watched like fucking 12 days worth of Melrose Place. Like I like it nowadays where it's like, all right, you're getting 6 hour-long episodes and then we're done forever.
Yeah.
That's more my speed these days.
Oh, speaking of, totally off topic. I apologize. I'm grinding the show to a halt. My wife just rewatched all of Twin Peaks and then wanted to watch the newest season. So I watched it, and the entire time I was thinking about you the entire time about like how much you would hate this.
The new season, or not new, like the season 3.
Like, yeah. Did like Sean force you to watch it? Did you watch it?
Yeah, we've been watching it as part of the Patreon bonus episodes, and we're up to like the 5th episode of season 3. And
how are you liking it?
I liked the first season of Twin Peaks, and I liked the first half of season 2, and then the second half of season 2.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for the Bookhouse Boys, if you don't want spoils for this. But the second half of season 2 is like the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. So comparatively, I like
it's pretty goofy.
Yeah, I like season 3 comparatively so far.
Okay, cool. I liked it, but I like all that stupid David Lynch shit. But yeah, it gets pretty wild. Like I think you're going to be pretty upset with Sean, like in a couple episodes.
Could be. I know that the weird like atomic bomb episodes coming up. But
Yeah. The entire budget went in those episodes for sure.
mhm. So who do you like more, Captain Picard or Agent Dale Cooper? Who would you say is better? Like if you had to solve a murder with somebody, who would you pick?
Yeah. Picard for sure. Because it would actually get fucking solved.
That is true, yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. Like, yeah. Even though I like the character of Dale Cooper, but it's like, I don't know. He's in Twin Peaks for like 2 years, and he's just like eating fucking cherry pies and like sleeping with fucking teenage waitresses. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but yeah, the dad did it. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, he's not particularly good at his job.
Yeah, can you imagine filling out that paperwork if you're like the FBI guy? He's just like, oh yeah, the dad did it, but he's like possessed by a fucking evil spirit.
Case
and
closed.
A giant has been whispering. Yeah, case closed. Yeah, and a fucking Asian lady's a doorknob now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
His boss bought it though. His boss, David Lynch, Gordon Cole. He said, "All right, this is perfectly reasonable."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's an open and shut case.
Yeah. National treasure.
Well, I think that David Lynch chat wraps it up for Star Trek First Contact, the best Star Trek movie.
Yeah, I give the movie 5 boobs for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a 5 boobs movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if you go back and rewatch TNG, are you going to start from the very beginning or start from season 3?
Well, I actually just started rewatching it. I watched the first 2 seasons like 2 years ago, and I just started rewatching it like a month ago, and I'm up to like episode 5 or something. So I'm going to start it over.
Okay. Yeah. It gets good.
Yeah. I've been liking it.
And I highly recommend Deep Space Nine. That's good.
I'll check that one out too.
And Voyager gets really good after 7 of 9 joins the cast. Yeah, I'm sure that has nothing to do with her being a babe. But you could tell that the writers like instantly just start gravitating to that character because like every episode revolves around her.
Yeah. I've heard mixed things about that season, but maybe that's, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know enough about that season.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say though, if you watch it, it kind of like makes the Borg not as threatening.
That's a bummer to hear. Because I think,
because like in TNG, they're only in a couple episodes, and it was like always these like huge events, like season finales, and like these huge deal, and like they're not in Deep Space Nine at all. There's no Borg in it at all, and then the movie obviously is a huge deal, and then in Voyager, like a Borg becomes a cast member, and then like they run into the Borg like every few episodes, and it becomes like their like main enemy of the TV show, and it just kind of like you know, oh, the Borg are here, and then they get away. You know what I mean? It kind of like defangs them, if you will.
Yeah, that happens to my favorite sci-fi show of all time, Sliders, where like there's like these evil bad guys that show up, like these Cro-Mags, and then by the time the show ends, like they're just like in every fucking episode, and they're like Scooby-Doo villains, basically.
Yeah. I love Sliders, actually.
It's magnificent.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
The show's so good. And then that is another one of the shows where it's just kind of goes off the rails. It's kind of like X-Files, where like X-Files is so good, and then like it just gets crushed by its own like lore. It gets crushed by its own story.
I've only seen the X-Files movies. I've never watched the show.
The show's good. You should watch it.
Yeah. I feel like I should. I got mad at it.
But why'd you get mad?
Sorry, I got mad at it as a kid because there was an episode where like the commercial was like, I think it might have been the fake cops episode, but like there's like somebody in it goes, "Oh, I saw the monster. It was Freddy Krueger." And then I watched the episode, and like that guy like is lying, like the monster isn't Freddy. Like it shows up as like different things to different people. So I thought Freddy was going to be in the fucking X-Files episode, and he wasn't. And so I've always been mad at that.
Did they really show it?
No, they didn't even show a Freddy. Like it was all off screen. So I've been mad at that for 30 years.
There's this episode. If you're going to watch any episode, there's this one called Home. You should watch it.
Okay. I'll check that down.
It's very good. It's all black and white.
I'm writing it down.
And I think all the music in it is like Cher songs. I think, or that might be a different episode. Either way, but Home is like, if you're going to watch an X-Files episode, watch that one.
Okay. I'm in. I'm writing it down. It's on the list.
Okay. And then I'll be on that episode, the Home episode, X-Files.
All right. Sounds good. Well, all right. Well, I think we've talked about the Star Trek stuff to the brink of Star Trek. So thank you, Babylegs Eric, for showing up on the show to talk about Star Trek with me, since Sean was not man enough to do so.
Yeah, he was terrified.
He's very
he had to leave the country. He was so scared.
Yeah, he's so afraid of Star Trek that he had to go to Japan just to have an excuse to not talk about it.
Is he like a Star Wars guy?
I think he's a little bit of a Star Wars guy. He's not like totally into it. I don't know what his deal with Star Trek is. He's never really explained it.
He's probably a Doctor Who guy.
That sounds about right. I bet he is.
Yeah, he's really into Doctor Who.
That seems like a secret shame he would have. But he will be back next week, as will Kevin. We're doing a normal junk food dinner show. Let me see what movies we're going to be doing next week. I know it's Sci-Fi February, and we are going to be talking about Memoirs of an Invisible Man, Hollow Man, and The Invisible Man versus the Human Fly. So all invisible men next week. It's going to be very intense. And then
it sounds spooky.
Yeah, it's going to be very spooky, very sci-fi-y. And then after that, I don't know what we're doing. Sean hasn't picked a movie yet. And then after that, it's going to be the meetup.
Is one of those the Chevy? Is one of those the Chevy Chase one?
Yeah, Memoirs of an Invisible Man is the Chevy Chase one.
That's
Carpenter.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good one. Spoiler alert. I like it anyway. Well, all right. Is there anything you would like to plug at all? An Instagram, anything like that? Yeah, you got any plugs that you want to tell the kids about, or to find you?
Me and my wife have an art Instagram called Dungeon Lurkers, where I draw drawings and she makes funny posts, and it's our weird art project that we've been doing for a few years.
I like both the drawings and the funny posts.
Yeah, it's a good time. Why not? Everyone needs a hobby, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, check that out, everyone. Check out junkfooddinner.com. Send us a voicemail by calling 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Find us in the Discord. Talk to us about the meetup. Go to patreon.com/junkfooddinner and sign up for the bonus episodes to hear us talk about Twin Peaks, all that kind of stuff. So until next week, this is Parker for Babylegs saying thanks for having fun.
Oh yeah, get money.